What's up, guys? Chasing Lamy here with episode 163 of The Journey. And, you know how I've been complaining about how we are not scoring enough goals? Yeah, we haven't got that problem anymore. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Let's go round out the Champions League stage, and I'll talk you through the absolute madness that I've been watching. See you in a sec. So we last met for the 3-0 win against Blackburn, and since then we have played 7 games in January, and we are averaging just under 5 goals a game scored for us, and more than that per game. We beat West Ham 5-2 in the league. We beat Bradford 5-1 in the FA Cup. We beat Brentford 5-1 in the Premier League. We beat Leeds 5-0 in the Premier League. We've just beaten Sporting Lisbon 7-2 in the Champions League, and I've just beaten Arsenal 2-1 in the FA Cup, and we've got so good at scoring the goals that I was disappointed that we only won 2-1. It's become a bit mad. So today we play Lazio in our final Champions League phase game before we concentrate on sorting out the Carabao Cup, which I still haven't decided if we're going back for the Bristol City second leg or not. I'll work it out when I get there. But either way, we're going to go straight into the game today against Lazio, where hopefully good things are about to happen. I think I've picked a team, but I honestly can't remember because I've been baking cookies since then. I just wanted cookies. So, yeah, that looks good enough. That'll do the job. So it's Ali Bear in goal. It's Trent at right back. Diamande, Figueroa and Dorgu. It's not good enough because Lavia's suspended. Good job, me paying attention. So we'll stick Camino and Caicedo in the centre of midfield. Szoboszlai, Levert and Fati are the attacking three. And then Ben White, our new striker, starts up top. Ben White, by the way, has scored 4 goals so far for us since joining. That's 4 goals in 6 appearances this season for him. Also, since we're talking through things, I'll go through the bench in just a second because that's by the by. We'll get to know the bench as we get there. So Ben Lloyd joined us for this game against West Ham. First game, first day on the job, literally just arrived. And I just want you to have a little look at what Ben White did on his debut. Just together, we'll have just a little look at what Ben White did on his debut because, frankly, I was appalled. I was shocked and I was appalled. We signed this new striker, and Erling Haaland's back up, and he does that on his debut. The boy is special, and like I said, he's been getting on the score sheet pretty well since, to be honest. He's had one in that game against Leeds. I think he had 2 in the Sporting game as well. He's all right. He's a good player, so we're happy with him. On the bench, Marcelo, Enrique, Guillaume, Eidinger, Elliott, Gravenberch, Doak, Bargi, and Takamoto. All looking pretty good. I always forget we can have 12 subs in the Champions League, and I always have to rethink it. So we're going to stick João Rego on the bench. We will stick Gould and Giovanni on there as well. Now I've thought that through, let's take out Bendo for this one. Let's stick Giovanni Del Moro on the bench just so I've got 2 centre-halves there in case I need them. That's way smarter than what I was going to do. We'll submit that team. We'll get in there to play Lazio, and we'll talk through the group stage table as and when it appears on screen because I forgot to show you. I forgot to show you the league table as well. It's been a day. Right, we're favourites here. Go out there and give us a performance to cheer for. One thing I'm going to warn you about with these wins is we have been starting slowly / badly. Even against Bradford, we went a goal down before we came back and smashed them. We seem to concede a goal early, and then we just turn it on. So let's not be too disheartened if we concede early. In fact, there were a couple of games in there where we conceded too early and then came back and just did bits. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a ride. I don't know if we're going to see the table. We're not going to see the table. That's fine. I can show it to you once we get into the game. As we get ready, teams coming out at Anfield for hopefully a good, solid final Champions League stage game. I have no idea who we're playing in the next round. I don't know whether that's going to clash with any of our League Cup commitments. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. We currently sit in 4th, Lazio in 5th. A win today could, in theory, put us top, but it's in theory. Dorgu, it will only be for 24 hours anyway, throws it to Wirtz. Wirtz with the ball to Ansu Fati, who has a pop from range, and he hits the bar. And Ansu Fati is looking a lot more dangerous from the wings now I've moved him out there instead of trying to use him as a striker. And having Ben White in there as a proper number 9 has really, really helped us to look like a much better side all around. Definitely, I'm glad I tried the experiment. I'm glad it didn't cost us too much with having sort of players who are attacking midfielders or wingers filling in up top, trying to use that pace. But there really is something to be said for just having a proper striker in there. And they don't get much better than Ben White, to be honest. So I think we're going to be okay for the rest of the season. I think we can still put up a title challenge, which again, I will explain where we are with the league table after this game, as Trent gets a throw into Wirtz to Camino, and Camino making a run forward to White, to Caicedo. Caicedo flicks it out for Ansu Fati, who's going to cut inside, have a shot at goal himself, straight into the hands of Ruiz. But, you know, we are trying, we're looking lively, we are qualified for the next round regardless of what happens here today, I believe. So, no big pressure from that standpoint, but, you know, it would be nice to finish things up on top of the table if we can, as it falls to Kerfeld, given away to Ansu Fati, lays it off for Dorgu, back to Fati with a chance to go out wider. Can he get a cross over here? Makes it to the byline, he's going to cut inside, back to Dorgu again for the cross, Caicedo with a shot, and Ruiz picks it up. And this is the kind of attacking play we've been seeing recently. I'm also very aware, because I know of the YouTube curse, which all FM YouTubers have, like, because I've said, oh, we've been averaging 5 goals a game lately, this will be a 0-0 draw. I know it will. It'll be a 0-0 draw. That's why I'm talking so much during the bits I never really talk during in matches, or try not to talk during matches so I can edit them out to make the episode shorter. But this has got 0-0 all over it, because I keep talking about the number of goals we're scoring. And, yeah, we'll have to make the best of that as half-time approaches. Ruiz with a goal kick for Lazio goes forward, headed away by Dorgu to White. White to Fati. Fati gives it away to Gillett, to Scamacca, out wide for Mudryk. Mudryk having a run at us now. Let's get a tackle in here. Szoboszlai gets across nicely. It's with Camino to Trent, who gives the ball away again. We're so bad at first touches at the moment. It's really awful. Kerfeld to Gillett, to Scamacca. Scamacca to Kerfeld, to Gillett again. And back to Kerfeld. They're playing the nice football we like to play against us. I don't like it. Scamacca gives it away to Figueroa. Caicedo to Dorgu. Dorgu goes out for Fati. Can we get a counter-attack going here? Figueroa. Ball forward to Fati again. He was cutting inside. Dorgu's gone a long way beyond him, but he's coming across the field. Wirtz, through ball for Ben White. Ben White through. Ben White scores. That's his 5th goal of the season. Is it going to get ruled offside, though? That is the big question as we wait for VAR to make a choice. It always takes longer than it needs to in game. It's been disallowed. It's a shame you didn't get to see Ben White score for the first time on the channel. But I very, very much hope he does in fact get a goal today, purely because I don't want this to end 0-0. Now I've been saying so much about our goal scoring of late. We're going to concede now, because again, Murphy's Law, as a header goes across the box, Alibert with another great save. As I said in the last episode, I think it was the last episode I said this, Alibert is very slowly just becoming my first choice keeper. I started using him as just being a cup goalkeeper. He is very slowly becoming first choice at the club. And I say slowly, it's not even that slowly. He is more or less first choice at the club now. I feel bad for Marcelo, but I've also just signed another goalkeeper. I've signed an 18-year-old Argentine goalkeeper again. I'll show you at the end of the episode. Yeah, we're not really struggling for attacking players. Diamande looks stressed, and I don't know why he looks stressed. I mean, yeah, I told him they weren't good enough, but Diamande knows me well enough by now to know that, you know, I get stressed. Figueroa to Dorgu. Dorgu now needs to get a ball forward, and he's just kind of faffing a little bit. Figueroa forward for Camino to Wirtz. Wirtz through ball for Caicedo with a pop from range. That will not be offside unless the linesman's having an absolute awful game. And we are finally in the lead, which I couldn't be happier about. I've got half an hour Szoboszlai, because he's not exactly setting the world on fire. Our captain does have a habit of going missing, and today's been one of those days where he's gone missing. Camino's been begging for more football and has not really shown up either. So there will be changes coming very soon. We've got a little bit of breathing room now. Corner, throw in for Lazio. Gillette to Guendouzi, back to Gillette into the box. Head this away if we can. Szoboszlai does get ahead to it. It's with Sabu on the far side now. Sabu crosses. Skamaka headed across goal. And we are let off, I suppose is the best way of putting that. Got to throw on Trent. I was just thinking subs, but you know, we'll keep carrying on. Camino back to Diamande now. Diamande all the way back to Alibert. Let's not make a silly mistake at the back if we can avoid it, please. Figueroa forward to Caicedo. Caicedo cuts it back for Dorgu. Dorgu going forward for Fati for Caicedo. Caicedo into the box. He's looking for options. Gets tackled by Kerfeld and we're on the back foot again. Skamaka looks for a through ball. Trent gets there. Szoboszlai back to Trent. Can Trent make something happen in this game? Wirtz tackled by Rivera. Kerfeld forward, but Diamande heads it away. Camino through ball looking for Ben White. Ben White's in. Ben White scores. And you've finally seen a legitimate Ben White goal since he joined us. We are absolutely lethal now up front with Ben White. He might, at this rate, make it into the top 3 or 4 of the Premier League goal scorers in this half of the season. I know I showed you before, I think, that Diamande was second top goal scorer in the Premier League, despite only ever playing at centre-half. I think Ben White, now he's out of Erling Haaland's shadow, might just be able to make a little play for that. And that would be a really nice return for him, especially because if he pulls it off, we should win the championship. So just a couple of changes early on. Guillaume goes on a centre-half for Figueroa. Szoboszlai makes way for Eugene Gould, who I've been using in his preferred role as an advanced playmaker on the right wing. I did accidentally agree to play him there when I signed him, and he's starting to get a little bit annoyed that I've not been playing him there. Diamande gets another goal, 19 for the season now. Yeah, you'd think Eugene Gould would just know how I play. He's been with me since we were at Blackburn. I literally gave him his debut as a player at Blackburn. He's come to Liverpool, made this demand that somehow I've let it slip through, and I don't know why I've let it slip through. And yeah, he's starting to get annoyed, but you'd think like the guy literally owes me his career. He'd play where I tell him to, but sadly not. But it is now 3-0, which is a really good place to be. We might get 5 goals today at this rate. Camino to Caicedo. Can we get anything else going here? Another couple of goals would be lovely, just so you can see what I've been watching. It feels like we're back in those qualifiers with Ivory Coast again, where we kept scoring 8 goals. Diamande, who was part of that team, Camino, Gould, back to Diamande. Diamande plays it all the way back to Alibert in goal to Guillaume now. Guillaume forward for Caicedo. Caicedo through ball for Ben White. He's in again. Ben White off the goalkeeper. Always looking dangerous. I know I keep going on, but I'm such a big fan of Ben White. He's just been doing such a good job for us. As Dorgu will pick that up, play it across for Gould. Gould back to Dorgu, who plays it in first time, looking for Ben White at the back post. He won't get there, but he has got it on the second time of asking. Takes it to the corner flag to waste a little bit of time. That's what we like to see. I am still keeping an eye on subs because we've got players tiring. And I think actually we'll make those changes now because they are fairly straightforward fitness changes. We'll take off Trent for Diego Enrique. We will take off Patrick Dorgu for Lucas Eidinger. That should tidy up the defence a little bit. And I think I'm going to take out Ansu Fati for João Rego. In fact, I'm going to do I stick Giovanni there? No, let's stick João Rego on there. He does do a slightly better job on that left-hand side than Giovanni. Giovanni, very good off the right, but I've got so many players that are good off the right that I could really pick almost any of them, and we'd be fine out there. But out left, João Rego is our usual option. We're going to praise the boys. Eidinger with a throw-in. 10 minutes to go. Wirtz plays it back to Guillaume. Guillaume gives the ball away to Guendouzi, who puts the ball through, but Diamande has come across to cover that nicely. Back to Eidinger, back to Guillaume. And can we get this ball forward and look for that 4th goal? Guillaume through to Camino. Camino through to João Rego. Heavy first touch. Kerfeld has come out with that ball, but Diego Enrique is there already. Gould. With time, with space, back to Diego Enrique, back to his man Diamande. Forward for Camino. Camino to Diamande again. He's going to go wide for Gould. Gould through for Wirtz. Wirtz should be playing a through ball here. Goes over the top for João Rego. Heads it back for Ben White. What a goal. That will be cruel if that gets ruled out for offside. That was such a good goal. Let's just enjoy this together. Verts here, cuts inside. Thought he was going for the through ball. Goes to Shalrego. Header to White. Volley back to Shalrego. And Shalrego just volleys it in. Curls it round the keeper to make it 4-0. That has been given, and that's got to be a goal of the season. That might even be a push-gas contender, if I'm honest. That is something very, very special we've just witnessed live on the channel. And you can see what a big difference having Ben White makes to our team. As Gould now back to Diego Enrique, back to Gould, Gould to Camino, Camino to Diamande. Are we going to get 5? We're into the last minute with some added time, of course. Guillem to Gould, Gould back to Diego Enrique, back to Camino to Verts. Verts finds Ben White. Ben White through ball for Eugene Gould, who gets tackled at the last minute, goes out for a corner. That should have been goal number 5. Can we get it from the corner? We've still got Diamande on. He's still dangerous. Looking for goal number 20. Doesn't quite get there. But this is quite a game. We are going to fizzle out, unfortunately, just shy of the mark at 4-0, I would say, barring something very, very special right now. But that should be the final whistle. It is the final whistle. And a 4-0 win guarantees us qualification. And we currently sit top of the league phase table, although with the big asterisk that both Inter and Bayern have still got a game in hand. So, realistically, probably not going to finish top of the table, but they are the only people that can stop us. So, we'll see if we get paid. Basically, qualifies a great achievement. Well done, lads. I mean, it feels like an overstatement. It's Liverpool with a great side. But, you know, we'll go with it. We'll go with it because that does give us a little breather. And as I promised, the Premier League table appears magically. We're currently sat in second. We have a game in hand over Manchester City. We sit 9 points behind them. We also have a game in hand over Arsenal, who are behind us but level on points. So we can put a little bit of daylight in there with our game in hand, which would be really, really nice. And as I said, looking at the overall as well. So far, Ousmane Diamande still second in the goal scorer chart. I don't know how Erling Haaland has 30 at the halfway mark of this, or just past halfway in the season. That's mental. But Diamande being second as a centre-half is crazy. He's outscored Karim Konate, which those of you who were here for the Ivory Coast era won't be terribly surprised by, because he wouldn't score for me either. In fact, I think Ousmane Diamande scored more than Karim Konate when we were managing them both for the Ivory Coast. So, normal service regimes, I suppose. Either way, coming back, I'm going to play it by ear. If the Bristol City second leg looks interesting, we'll come back for that. If not, the League Cup final is due to be played the same weekend as this Southampton game. If that is the case, because stuff's going to get shuffled with the Champions League as well, we'll come back for that. So, let's say League Cup action next time, and we'll work it out from there, like grown-ups. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I have, as always, been Chasing Langley. Do like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Thank you much for watching. Until next time, stay safe and have a good one.